Hey everyone, welcome back to Social Security Post. You're a trusted source for everything related to Social Security, SSI, SSDI, retirement benefits, and how legislation in Washington is shaping your wallet. Today, we're breaking down something that looks like it has nothing to do with you. The new $2,500 payment inside the reconciliation bill, but here's the twist. This seemingly unrelated policy could actually be the key to unlocking direct benefits for seniors. This video is not just about policy, it's about opportunity. Stick around until the very end because we're going to connect the dots between child tax credits, a forgotten proposal for adult payments, and why seniors like you may finally be getting the leverage you've waited years for. This isn't a maybe, it's a moment. And if we don't act on it, we'll lose it. The reconciliation bill being debated in Congress includes a headline item, a $2,500 payment increase to the child tax credit. On the surface, it may seem targeted at families with children, not seniors or adults without dependents. But there's a deeper reason why this matters to the Social Security community. Historically, these bills are catalysts. Once benefits start being handed out to one group, it sets off a chain of questions. Who else needs help? Who's still struggling? Who's being left behind? Every time a new credit is expanded, it invites the possibility of an equivalent program for others. That's where seniors come in. The political appetite to give direct payments exists, but it often requires one group getting attention before others follow. This $2,500 payment could ignite a broader movement toward fairness. And as advocates raise concerns about exclusions, the spotlight naturally turns towards seniors and fixed income beneficiaries who've been waiting for help far too long. This is your moment to understand not just what the bill includes, but what it makes possible. Legislation isn't static, it evolves. Here we are again. A major federal package is rolling through Congress, and seniors are once more left on the sidelines. This bill's headline may be the $2,500 payment, but it's explicitly tied to the child tax credit. So unless you're claiming dependents under 17, you're out of luck. And that $4,000 senior bonus deduction everyone keeps mentioning, it's not as helpful as it sounds. Most low-income seniors don't file taxes. They don't meet the minimum income requirements, so they don't even see the benefit. And yet Congress points to that as proof that seniors weren't forgotten. This is what we call legislative gaslighting. They say you were included, but in a way that offers no actual help to the majority of Social Security recipients. So while families may see thousands in direct deposits, seniors get a technical deduction they'll never use. What makes this even more frustrating is how consistently this happens. Every bill has something for children, something for corporations, sometimes something for homeowners, but rarely something just for seniors. It's a pattern that needs to be challenged. It's easy to dismiss the child tax credit as something that doesn't apply to me, but that mindset risks overlooking how transformative it could be, not in its current form, but in its implications. The expansion of the child tax credit is proof that regular monthly payments are politically and economically feasible. Back in 2021, the child tax credit was distributed in monthly installments. Parents received checks on a consistent basis, and it lifted millions out of poverty. But here's what matters for seniors. That same structure can be applied to adults. In fact, it almost was. We'll get to that shortly. Understanding this bill gives seniors leverage. If monthly support is okay for one group, why not another? That's not just a question for lawmakers, it's a rallying cry. These payments show us what's possible when the government decides to act. And that's the real value here. So instead of ignoring these credits, we need to use them as a benchmark. They tell us how far the government is willing to go and how far we can push them. Let's go back in time for a moment. Just after the pandemic era stimulus checks were distributed, there was a proposal introduced in Congress called the adult tax credit. It was designed to do for adults what the child tax credit did for family. Monthly payments, direct support, predictable income. This wasn't just an idea floated on a campaign trail. It was drafted, circulated, and debated. It had real legislative language, but then it stalled. Other bills took priority and the momentum faded. But here's the kicker. The foundation is still there. Lawmakers already know how to implement such a program. They've modeled it, they've priced it, they've even acknowledged its potential impact. That's why the resurgence of the child tax credit should wake up every senior in America, because this may be the moment to resurrect the adult credit alongside it. If enough people speak up, demand inclusion, and point to this history it could come back stronger. Especially now with inflation and housing costs stretching every dollar, the need is more urgent than ever. Let's look at the human impact. According to the US Census Bureau, more than 11 million seniors currently live in poverty. That's more than the entire population of New York City. And yet we rarely hear about it. Poverty among seniors is invisible until it hits home. Social Security was never meant to be a luxury, but for too many, it's now their only source of income. The average check around $1,500 per month. Try covering rent, medication, groceries, transportation, and utilities with that. It's not just hard, it's impossible. When seniors are excluded from payments like the $2,500 child credit, it deepens this inequality. It sends a message: your struggle doesn't count. That's unacceptable. Our nation owes its elders more than respect in words. It owes them stability in action. This is why the debate over the reconciliation bill must include discussions about fixed income relief, not as an afterthought, but as a priority, because the numbers don't lie and the crisis is growing. One of the biggest myths circulating in Washington is that giving low-income people, especially seniors, money will lead to wasteful spending. It's a myth rooted in ignorance, and it's time we destroy it. When seniors receive extra funds, studies show they spend it almost entirely on essential needs: food, housing, prescription drugs, dental care, transportation, glasses, heating. These aren't optional luxuries, they're survival expenses. Economists refer to something called the marginal propensity to consume, or MPC. It measures how likely someone is to spend additional income. Low-income seniors have some of the highest MPC rates in the country. They don't hoard stimulus checks, they spend them immediately and in ways that circulate money back into the economy. So if lawmakers are looking for effective economic stimulus strategies, look no further. Giving seniors monthly support is not only morally just, it's economically smart. There's another option on the table, one that doesn't get enough attention. It's the expansion of the Earned Income Tax Credit, EITC. While traditionally designed for working families, some lawmakers have proposed adapting it for retirees and low-income adults. In fact, in 2021, Congress even discussed making the EITC available to adults without children and delivering it in advance through monthly payments. This would operate almost identically to the child tax credit, but for seniors. The infrastructure is already there. The IRS already has the capability to distribute monthly payments. What's missing is legislation that prioritizes this demographic. But again, the possibility is real. Imagine receiving $200 to $500 each month in addition to Social Security. It wouldn't solve everything, but it would ease the pressure. And it could be implemented much faster than brand new programs because it builds on what already exists. Some of you may be wondering, does advocacy actually make a difference? The answer is yes. In 2021, we saw how public pressure turned an early version of the American Rescue Plan into one of the largest economic relief packages in U.S. history. Those $1,400 checks, they weren't in the first draft. They were added because people demanded them, because groups mobilized, because citizens flooded lawmakers' offices with calls, emails, and petitions. That same playbook can work again. If enough seniors, disability advocates, and fixed income beneficiaries raise their voices, not just once, but consistently, changes can happen. And they have happened before. This is about more than one check. It's about being seen, valued, and included in every policy conversation going forward. So let's talk about the possible futures. If nothing is said, nothing changes. But if we use this moment, this $2,500 payment as a trigger, we could see the revival of adult payments or new bills introduced just for seniors. We could see a targeted stimulus package for Social Security recipients, just like we saw during the pandemic. We could see expanded deductions that don't require filing. We could even see enhanced benefits added to monthly checks. But all of that depends on one thing: pressure. Sustained vocal public pressure. That's the key. And that's what every viewer of this video can be part of. You don't need to be a lobbyist. You just need to speak to your friends, to your family, to your representatives. The future is not fixed, but it is influenced by what we do today. If you've watched all the way through, thank you. Truly, this is more than a video. It's part of a movement. As Social Security Post, we exist to empower seniors with facts, strategies, and advocacy tools that make a real difference. Now I want to hear from you. Should seniors receive monthly payments the same way families do under the child tax credit? Drop a yes or no in the comments. We read them all, and trust me, lawmakers notice too. Please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with someone who needs to understand what's at stake. Together, we can create momentum, not just for one policy, but for long-term change. Stay strong, stay informed, and stay loud. Until next time, take care.